I use technique called as the deep somatic healing. And of course, I come from deep spiritual background too. I've worked with my teachers who are in Zen, Buddhist, and Advaita traditions on one side. And on the Western methodologies, I'm a positive psychology practitioner along with being a trauma support specialist. So for me, both of these aspects were extremely needed and they had to be interleaved to get into the trauma and then heal the trauma. I used a practice called as the inquiry-based modality, wherein it's sitting with myself and then a lot of self-reflection. Many a times what happens for us is we don't want to go back to the same situation. And even things like, be here now, just be present now, just be here now can sometimes work against us because we can't be here now unless and until we be there then and then release the then into the now. And I think this is the most important message that I would like to give is somewhere we have lost the ability to realize what is reality versus what is imagination. And it's a very controlled and a very compassionate and very present journey with a lot of presence that we start looking into those compressed or stuck parts within our body. And then with a lot of attention and a love and presence, you start melting those. And there's a lot of integration that happens between you as a whole and those parts that are stuck. So usually what I talk about is first you need to learn how to ground yourself. And grounding comes with awareness. Going a little bit deeper to understanding who we are at the level of consciousness, because that will ground you into a kind of presence. The presence can look at now, the presence can look at your future, the presence can look at your past. So once you start grounding yourself more, for me, what helped is a lot of meditation practices, a lot of body scan meditations, and body scan meditation is an amazing one, just to ground ourselves in presence. Then what I do is I energize the body. Because what I observed in both treating myself and treating many of my clients is the trauma parts are frozen. We need to somehow energize our body to thaw it. Expression that I can give is it's literally frozen. And the more we start energizing our body, which through the presence, we start looking at our body, start feeling our body, we start letting all the emotions and thoughts go through our body without trying to resist from them or so, then what happens is slowly they start waking up. And then and during that phase it just feels like it's more overwhelming for the body to deal with all of those things. But then if you don't, it's just getting suppressed, and then even a small trigger can blow everything off one day, right? So the second part is about thawing this and then getting them to little bit loosen up, and now the consciousness, now the energy starts flowing into these. And then what happens is there is a trigger that comes in. Oh, this trigger. And then with more groundingness and because of the thawing, the trigger literally comes to the surface. And then is when I use a lot of inquiry-based practices to go within. And there's a lot of questioning and intuitive based questioning, which can go into such deeper layers that the person doesn't even know that they had actually repressed an emotion, because this is beyond suppression. It's completely repressed. They don't even know that it's existing. And then bringing that to the surface layer and looking at through your presence and integrating the different fragments that we have within our body, and then transmuting that into presence. So the process, I call it as transmutation. And this happens at a somatic level, not at a mental level or an emotional level. It literally happens at the somatic level. It literally happens at the energetic level. And I think once the person kind of gains this, oh, I think I can, the person can themselves start digging deep into themselves and then start releasing even more. And then without any reason, people come and tell me, it's like, I was surprised that the same trigger didn't do anything to me after I went through this. And I don't know what I did, because it's very difficult to even understand what happened when you start releasing those, because it happens at the body level. And then slowly our nervous system feels that it's safe to relax. Then it relaxes, it again contracts, it relaxes, and one day it slowly feels, yes, I can relax most of the time, and when it's needed, I can still contract. So it'll contract only when it is really in emergency, in a situation that it needs to do, but still its natural way is more relaxing. And that's the process I use, Karin.